Hello everyone and welcome back to Philathon, the Khajiit Mage. I know it's been a really long time since we came out with one, and most of you have probably given up hope long ago that we would ever come out with another one. But here we are. I'm currently crippled as a result of a car accident, and as such, I don't really want to set up the camera and deal with all of that right now, so first, Zen and I will be recording just our commentary for the next couple episodes.
Yep, I'm here as well. We are back with our Khajiit friend, and it's been a long time. I don't really remember very well where we left off, but we'll get back into it.
I can't even remember how to switch views. Oh man. But I know a lot of people are probably kind of bummed out that this gets updated so infrequently. That was never my intention, our intention. We both really enjoy doing this, and I do want to keep it going, but I think from now on we're going to try, if we can't do it in person, we're going to try streaming my screen over the internet so that first Zen can see it and obviously comment along with it.
Yeah, it'll be an easier setup, I think, if we can do it online, because, you know, we have to get together physically and you know, set this whole thing up, make it all work. If we can, if we can do it digitally, it'll speed it up, make it more frequent, I think.
Right. So we left off in the last episode, we had just finished a chore, or as we've lovingly referred to them in this playthrough, bitch work. A chore for this mouth, where we had to talk to a wizard. And so let's pick up and let's just find out what else he wants us to do. Archmagister, ooh, the big guy in charge. He wants us to check out Nchuleft. West of Voss. Plans or blueprints? Huh. It has the option to give him the documents without having them. And then he gets mad at you.
Oh, that's funny. So what house are we again? I've completely forgotten.
We're at House Telvanni.
Telvanni. Alright.
The mages. Oh, I forgot that. We're stuck in perpetual combat music over here. I figured out what was causing it, but I never actually went to rectify it. Hopefully I'll remember, and I'll do that in between episodes.
So do you have the Better Faces mod on right now? Or are these the default?
Yes, I do. Yep.
Alright.
Sorry,
yeah,
stranger.
Better.
My time is short, so
if you played Morrowind at all on either unmodded PC or on the consoles, you know that the vanilla faces are potato quality.
Yeah, I thought so, because I was looking at the mouth that we're currently running chores for. It's like, oh, that's interesting. It's got the whole, like, the bumps from the scarification. Like a scarification ritual. I was like, oh, that's cool. Was that something that they ever represented in the regular phases? Because I don't ever remember seeing that before, or ever again in any other of the Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, I think they were in the vanilla faces. It's been so long since I played with them. I remember that the Dark Elves had some scars.
I'd like to see more of that sort of interesting design choices. A lot of the new Elder Scrolls stuff has been more moving towards the sort of traditional Western fantasy aesthetic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that in a previous video. Like you had mentioned right before we started recording this, the Augurum, and the Augurum hasn't appeared in any other Elder Scrolls title since this, and that was one of those strange creatures in Morrowind that kind of capture the imagination, you know.
Yeah, and there's a lot of creatures like that that are just sort of weird looking, really strange stuff.
Right.
But in, you know, like the big thing in Skyrim is dragons, and it's like
Right.
immediately what you think of when you think of a dragon. That's the kind of dragon they put into that game.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a little bit strange, seeing the sort of pedigree of design that they put into Morrowind.
And that was one of the weird things about Skyrim, and what didn't make me hyped up for that game as much as I think an Elder Scrolls game should, because Skyrim was very clearly kind of a game inspired by, you know, Nordic culture with the dragons. It felt very much like a transplant of something you would pull out of a history book. And I love Skyrim. I think it's a really good game. But the difference between Skyrim and, say, Morrowind is that Morrowind is very much the mythology is manufactured in a way that isn't as closely related to the real world.
Yeah.
You know, like you look at the style of Telvanni buildings, you know, all those acorn weird looking things, and you're like, I don't think, you know, you don't really see that in any real world inspirations. But you look at Skyrim and you're like, oh, that's a Nordic emblem carved into stone, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think I touched on this a little bit previous episode as well, but do you think that sort of one of the reasons they've moved in that direction is because of the increased fidelity of the games? Maybe they can't do it as believably without the sort of mushiness of, you know, lower resolution textures and stuff like that?
Right. It's possible. Obviously, you know, I don't design games or anything like that, so I can't really speak on any sort of authority, but it's possible, I guess.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's something I've seen in video games as a whole, I mean, it could just be the sort of more mainstreaming of video games in general, but those design choices are, you know, a lot of the really out there designs don't usually survive into a lot of these games now, where they used to before.
Yep. So we have to locate the Dwemer ruin of Nchuleft. I believe it's right there. We have the advantage of having a very large view distance. One of the kind of mysteries of Morrowind, if you play it unmodded or vanilla on the consoles, is a really short view distance, so the game feels a lot bigger than it actually is, because you can barely see what's, you know, over the next hill. So it compresses, kind of, not compresses, does the opposite of compress, expands your perception of the world. It's not something you realize until you play with the extended distance mod. But
yeah, that makes sense. There's usually that it's like an ever-present fog sort of in the distance that obscures stuff. But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's how we sort of perceive things. The stuff that's within our perception is there, and everything that's outside is not. So even if it, you know, it's obscured by fog or something like that, yeah, that it makes sense that we sort of just adapted in the way we sort of absorb the world.
right. It's weird because with the extended distance mod, you load up into Seyda for the first time, and you can see Vivek from Seyda Whereas previously, going to Vivec from State of Need felt like a really kind of long, involved journey. But now it's like, oh, it's right there. I can swim to it if
It's
I
right
want
over
to.
there. Yeah.
So there should be Nchuleft. This is a Dwemer. I forgot what they call these things.
Ballista, maybe?
Ballista, yeah. There we go. The ruins in Morrowind they kind of had like scattered little bits of technology like that. Lots of steampunk kind of influences.
Yes, definitely.
Nchuleft, there we go. Now we're looking for plans. Shouldn't be too hard. Not what I want. What I want is Eye of Night. This is worth a pretty penny. We're kind of broke, so just gonna grab that. 2 diamonds. Back when gems were an alchemical ingredient.
Is that Dwarven writing?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is that actually readable stuff, or is it just, like, nonsense?
I'm gonna guess yes. Because I believe there's a translation for the Daedric text. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was one for the Dwemer as well.
It'd be interesting to see what that's all about.
These ruins are very clangy with their sound effects, in case you can't hear.
Yeah.
Pretty immersive in a game where the lack of, kind of graphical immersion means immersion is a little more difficult. I think they did a good job with the soundtrack on this.
Indeed, yeah.
Soundtrack and sound.
Yeah, sound is a big thing when it comes to immersion. Even in modern day games, people sort of like tout graphics all the time, but if you can, it's all the senses really, and especially the ones that maybe aren't the primary. Oh, getting a little messed up here.
Yup.
But yeah, especially sound, since we're not always as vividly aware of it as the visual. It can go a long way.
Right.
So I've never seen those things before. It shows how little I've played this game, but what's I know the sort of evolution of these little contraptions into Skyrim, but what is going on top of them? That weird, like, morphy, gooey bit.
I don't really know. I think they are steam powered, so perhaps it's where that their power comes from, maybe, which might explain why steam vents from the top.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's just strange to see that sort of like organically moving thing on top.
Right.
Whereas the other ones are basically just metal with the gems in them.
Yeah, Skyrim was really nice to the Dwemer machines because the Havoc physics makes them clang around and fall apart when you defeat them, and the ragdoll is pretty fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So I just picked up the Chronicles of Nchuleft. That might be what we need, but I'm gonna keep exploring if not. We're already down here. Here are some plans. Scarab schematics. The Dwemer, I believe, had all sorts of plans for machines that you only see three of them in the game. You have the Centurions, the Dwemer Spheres. They have a different name in Morrowind, I forget what they are. And then the Spiders. They had all sorts of plans for huge, elaborate contraptions, but you never really see them.
I'm always interested in sort of the things you can find in dark corners of the universe. There's lots of little things like that in Morrowind, especially in like reading the books and stuff. It's like,
right.
It's like, oh, that's so cool. They do a lot of interesting things where they hint at stuff that's beyond all that you can see, even in the game world. That maybe there's this thing going on or that, and then especially when it's in the books, it's like, is that even real, or is it fictional within the world? Someone wrote it for fun. It's cool to sort of have that there. It makes the world feel more alive, I guess.
Yeah. And the thing with Morrowind is that because there was no sort of waypoint system yet, the quest didn't hold your hand. Even things that you were directed to go to, you could have trouble getting to. And there's, in Skyrim, even the miscellaneous quests would be go kill the bandit leader at, X location. It would tell you exactly where he is. And, at a certain point, it's kind of, it holds your hand a little too much and takes away the spirit of what these games kind of are. Because it's an open world with exploration. What's the fun in being told to go exactly where to go?
Yeah, it in a way ruins the immersion. It gamifies it in a way that, I don't know. That's a hard thing to say, because how much can you get away with in terms of mass appeal before it diminishes the experience to the point where it sucks?
Right.
And that's one of the ones where, where we would rather that didn't exist, so that we could have this more immersive world to explore. But, are people really going to put the effort in to actually, find themselves in this world, or are they going to be like, oh, this sucks, this is too hard, and then just leave?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about that? Because the most immersive world doesn't have very many gamey elements at all. You can't see your health, stuff like that. But I don't know. In a way, those are the sorts of experiences that I like the most. The more of the game we can take away, sort of the more that we don't really realize there's a game going on anymore, the more of an interesting experience I think we can make with these things.
Yeah, it reminds me of, I don't know if you played through Metro 2033.
Oh yes, yeah, that's an excellent example of that.
Yup. And that game was immersive. Again, another good example of a game with superb sound immersion.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sort of that. I think I would prefer the less holding of your hand. Metro 2033 was linear, but it still felt exploration based because you were given a directive, but it wasn't oh yeah, you need to go exactly this way. It was kind of you're crawling around in the deep dark underground looking for a passage to go through.
Yeah.
it didn't hold your hand, and ultimately that's what made the game so immersive.
Well, I feel, I mean, I've talked to you a little bit about VR and stuff like that before, but see, that's where VR comes in for me. I feel that would be the way of getting people into more immersive games that don't hold your hand as much, in that what I sort of like the aim of the VR stuff is to sort of put your senses more into the game. Do you think that would help with that, in where, since people are like immersed in this world, they don't really care as much about the sort of like feedback loop of get this quest there, that's where you have to go, and then maybe they'll be more open to just like looking around and like exploring, and maybe you could make that more, that sort of less, I don't know, less gamey game.
Maybe. I mean, obviously VR has huge potential just by the nature of its platform, you know, for immersion. You know, just unprecedented to just involve someone in a game like that, you know, kind of dunk their senses into virtual reality.
Yeah.
And maybe, yeah, I don't. Again, it's, you know, it's so theoretical, and I haven't played with virtual reality at all, so
Yeah, me neither.
I can't speak from any sort of experience.
It's all speculation at this point.
And for the record, I don't want to come off as one of these Elder Scrolls snobs who's like, Oblivion and Skyrim suck because they let you fast travel and gave you waypoints.
Yeah.
I think both Oblivion and Skyrim are great games. They both have their own unique tone to them. I like them both a lot. You know, to say that one is better than the other, you know, I feel like playing different ones at different times, they each have their own feel to them. So, you know, I'm not being snobbish.
Yeah, we're really just sort of exploring the differences, not so much saying one has greater or lesser value. They're different, and they just take different approaches.
There's a corpus stalker on the loose. Why can't you buy or sell anything? Because there's a corpus stalker on the loose. Oh.
Because it's right there.
I will come back to deal with that, because I need to sell you some stuff. Corpus. Corpus is the disease that deforms bodies and makes the mind go mad. They kind of look like zombies, but don't call them that.
So, who is this? Somebody that this shopkeeper knows?
I don't know. I know there's an explanation for how it ended up here, but I can't remember it. I probably should have listened to her. You ain't so tough.
So you like killing her dad or something?
I don't know. Bye-bye. So does she just like not sleep ever?
I guess.
Okay, lady, I took care
I really don't have time
took
for
care of your
this, so make
stalker.
it quick.
You obviously have great skill. Dodoy. Okay.
You are
Sell
the
you some
best.
stuff. Thorana's skirt. Let's see. Ooh, restore health. I'm buying a bunch of ingredients for restore health and restore fatigue potions because those are always useful. We were almost poor for a second. We had like 100 gold left, but now we're good.
Almost poor. The worst thing to be.
Hello, Radras. Oh yes, please repair all my stuff.
Did you just say rad ass?
Radras.
Radras.
I'm sure that's a total butcher of it.
Looks like Radras.
You're giving me like... She's giving me like 400 for a cuirass worth 1,000.
Offer refused.
Sorry, stranger. My
Cheap
time is
ass.
short, so get on with it.
Cheap ass.
Chief ass. That's her name.
In Oblivion, there was a console command called set name. I would screw with people.
Yes.
Like Joffrey. I named him Jeffrey on multiple occasions.
Yes.
Okay, let's get back to Sadrith Mora. Oh wait! We have a recall spell that we
May I
can't
help
use because we don't have any magicka.
Speak, traveler.
No magicka.
Where's that slave? Here not long ago.
Where's our magicka?
I spent it all trying to use Frostbite on that Allet. Which, try saying that in regular conversation and see how fast people run away from you.
Yeah. Well, there are many sentences that have occurred because of video games and the internet, which they would put you away for, I think.
Like, hold on, there's an electric machete in that dead chick.
Indeed.
One of my favorites. Spoken by yours truly. What enemies? Just trying to rest so I can restore magicka. In Morrowind, there's waiting, which restores fatigue, and resting, which restores all three: health, magicka, and fatigue. And you can't rest inside city walls. You can only rest in a bed or in the wilderness.
Doesn't since Oblivion, I thought
May I help you out?
Doesn't
What do you
magicka
want of
restore
me,
over time?
Outlander?
Yes,
May I help?
health as well. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Nchuleft. Archmagister Gothrin. He's a mean son of a bitch. We'll learn that later. But he gave us a cephalopod helm. Too bad we can't wear it. Bound helm and summon Dwemer.
Bound helm. It's interesting. Speaking of bound items, I had a playthrough in Oblivion where basically I was a split personality hobo summoner,
Go ahead,
or
Outlander. What do you need?
summoned weapons user. So basically, what I would do is, like, I would
Three
never pick up
blessings,
very
sir.
much stuff, and if I came upon anything that would gain me wealth, I would suddenly something weird would happen, and one of my split personalities would come out
Yes,
and like
Outlander,
do
what
something
do you
stupid
want?
with it. So I was always poor, And the idea was that once in a while I would
May you find all that you seek,
have to kill
traveler.
somebody. So I rolled a die, and every once in a, like every hour or so, roll a die and see if one of the powers
May
would
I
come
help
out,
you?
one of the crazy personalities would come out. Just do crazy things like that. It was really fun, actually. It's a fun way
That's
to play.
cool.
But the only good weapon he had was a
Go ahead,
bound dagger.
What do you need?
Bound dagger.
Sorry, stranger. My time
It's
is
very
short,
challenging.
so
Very
get
challenging
on
way to play.
And that was Oblivion or Skyrim, you said?
That was Oblivion.
If I can help, I will,
Yep,
but don't
the
take
beauty
too
of the Elder Scrolls world. Lets you do whatever your heart desires.
I find doing that sort of little bit of role play can really make it fun. A lot. Impose some restrictions on yourself. Like, think of a character and try to play it.
Right.
It can be a lot of fun. Sometimes you get sort of drawn out of it because there is a sort of narrative that the developers of the game have drawn up for you. But for the most
Is there
part,
something you need?
especially if you've played through the game and you know how it
Is there
works,
something
you
you
can
need?
you can do that sort of role play and avoid the things that'll bring you out of it.
Go
Right.
ahead, Outlander. What do you need?
Anything I
When
can
the
do for you?
Dragonborn expansion for Morrowind came out, which, if you're unfamiliar with it, allows you to go back to Solstheim, and it has a lot of Morrowind influences in it. When that came out, I roleplayed a character who was a smith on the island, and that was a ton of fun because
Is there something
I
you
got to
need?
play as a dark elf, doing dark elf things in a dark elf Redoran town. In Skyrim, where the graphics is obviously updated by 2 generations over Morrowind.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds fun.
So I have to get north side of town. I have to get some slowed soap. We're almost out of mouth missions, actually, which is good. We need to find a patron in House Telvanni to advance, someone who will sponsor us. But our current mission is we have to find 5 portions of slowed soap for Neloth, another mean son of a bitch. And she basically, again, this is a testament to the bitch work. She gave us money and said, go find this. You can keep what's left.
Yeah.
Come on, I haven't got all day.
What say you?
I say nay.
I think I'm totally lost again. Oh, wow, yep. North side of town, I head
What
south.
say you?
What say you?
What say you? Keep moving. Keep moving.
Is there something I can do for you?
See, I was just around here and I was like, I know there's an alchemist somewhere here. And I missed her. Oh, wow, right there. The doy.
Hard time keeping straight. Like, the differences between different buildings in this area.
Yeah. I need your slowed soap. Huh. Get to keep a nice tidy profit.
How much did she give us?
500. It ended up costing 255.
Ah, not bad.
Not bad at all. Just hop down on this mushroom. Our mysticism skill is not very good. Oh, that's probably the issue. That's slaughterfish.
Wow.
May I help you?
Probably all the issues. Damn slaughterfish.
Please, go ahead, Outlander. What do you want of me,
So
Outlander?
good to see
Is there something I can do for you?
Yes, take my slowed soap. Perhaps these will put Neloth in a better mood. Any more chores? Staff of Silver Dawn. Ooh, this sounds involved. Someone in the Mages Guild has it. Oh, never mind. This sounds involved, I say, and it's just a simple fetch mission.
May I help you?
But we're gonna call it for today. Next time we'll go get a staff of silver, whatever the hell. I already forget what it is. Silver Dawn. So until then, see ya.
Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
I ask him about the Dwemer. Morrowind's greatest mystery. The disappearance of the
Go ahead,
dwarves.
Outlander. What do you need?
So what's our task? Our task is to go ask Demnavani, who is in the Imperial Fort of Nissus, some questions about the disappearance of the dwarves.